The Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Code Words frontman John Dillon to the podcast. Code Words is a new hard rock band signed to the Artery Foundation. John talks about moving from Arizona to LA in pursuit of music, trying his hand at pop music, making the type of music the band wants to without genre boundaries, trusting the label as they kick off their career, and more. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page. And if you know someone who might enjoy this podcast, I would love it if you would share the episode with them. Enjoy today's conversation with John Dillon from Code Words.
Of cards created to be broken. Why is love such a
Cool, man. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. It's nice and sunny still where you are. That's nice.
Yes, sir.
Did you grow up in LA or that area, or are you a transplant?
I grew up in Phoenix. I've been here 5 years now.
Okay. Nice. What was growing up in Phoenix like?
Hot. No, it was a great city.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's definitely still feels like home when I go back. The one thing that I do notice when I go back, you get off a plane there and you walk outside and the whole city smells like it's melting a little bit. It kind of smells like asphalt and like rubber that's melting.
Oh, man.
But I mean, there's so many good people there, and it's such like a cool growing city. Like their downtown now is so sick. Like
Nice.
if it was the way it is now 5 years ago, I might have been a little more hard pressed to leave. But
Nice.
I love LA. I don't think I'll ever go back, to be honest.
Nice.
Much to my best friend's chagrin.
Yeah. So summers, I'm out on the East Coast. I'm out in DC, and summers here are brutal. And I'm just like, I can't imagine living in some place like Phoenix. Like, people can give me their dry heat bullshit all they want. Like, when it's 100 degrees, it's 100 degrees. I don't care if it's humid or dry, right? Like,
It's 120. I think the hottest day I experienced there was 129.
oh, geez.
It's next level. It's like
That's too much.
Literally like opening the oven and sticking your face in there. It hits you like that. Like, getting in your car, everything's hot.
Yeah.
I used to bake cookies in my car. You just like leave them in the windscreen and then like go for a couple hours. You come back and you got cookies. It's great.
Crazy. Oh my God. It's terrible. What gets you into music and like connects you to, like, I don't know, as some sort of fan or deeper passion?
I mean, I grew up with music all around me. My mom's a singer. She was like operatically trained, and my whole family are very music forward. Like my older sister gave me a mix CD. I remember having like Linkin Park and Blink-182 on it. So I mean, it's just like I've been since like third grade, just like obsessed with rock music and loved it. And then, in high school, like I was in choirs and things like that, and was like, I think I can sing a little bit, and joined my first band. I was supposed to play piano. That was my first. So I was like, I'm going to be the keys guy. And then the vocalist didn't show up, and it's fortuitous because I would have never grabbed the mic otherwise. And then they were like, yeah, you're that guy. You're the singer now. And I was like, okay, cool. And I've just been doing it ever since. But I mean, it's obviously as a lover of it, it becomes like your therapy, your solace. It's where I put all my memories are attached to different songs, and, all my woes are attached to different songs. And you kind of gives your emotions a place to live when you're listening to it. And so like as a musician now, that's always kind of what I aim for. I'm like, all right, I want to heal somebody else's wounds the way that music has healed mine. And it's such like a cool like community thing, and like a way to get back to the world that's, I think, like not underappreciated, but I think like unrealized by most fans. Like as an artist, you're kind of like, I want to do this for other people. It's a selfless act in some cases. You have to be really vulnerable and like open up about yourself and like things you've went through to write some of this stuff. So it's cool. It's therapy. It's all the above. It's everything, man.
Yeah. Well, did you just not want to be a singer because you didn't want the attention, or was it just like you just didn't feel like your voice rose to that level of quality at that moment in time?
I think it was just like an opportunity. Like it was just
Okay.
my friend was going to be the screamer, and he was like, I'm like kind of nervous. You should come with me. Like, I don't know, play keys or something. And I was like, all right, cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'll come, I'll tag along. It wasn't that I didn't think I could. And like, I was like playing acoustic guitar and singing little acoustic things here and there in like 8th grade or something.
Yeah.
So like, I knew I could sing a little bit, but it wasn't ever like anything that I really felt like I don't know, maybe I was just a little too shy or something. It didn't really cross my mind until that moment. I like picked up the mic and was like, I'll just noodle around. And I just sang some stuff and was like, whoa, I think I'm kind of good at this. And
Nice.
and then there was another version of that because it was like, I'm in my little high school bands, like whatever. And then when I graduated, I joined this band called The Searching that locally in Phoenix got some notoriety. Like Luke Holland was our actor in our first music video, and like, I go way back with a lot of the Arizona dudes, but at that point I was like, oh, like I'm actually like, maybe I could do something cool with this. Like maybe this should be like a goal in my life. Before it was just kind of a hobby. So yeah.
How's that journey been from a lyrical perspective and kind of learning how to write and create art that is meaningful and words that connect with people?
I mean, I think it goes back to like vulnerability and just honesty.
Yeah.
You can write a song that's like, oh, I'm going to put all the cool stuff in here. I want it to hit, or I want it to be hard. And like, obviously that's super fun and there's a place for that as well. But for me, I've always tried to like write something meaningful. So that requires a lot of like self-reflectivity and like willingness to share that. And I think like when people listen to a song necessarily, they're like, man, the singer's been through it, but it kind of feels like that when you're doing it. You're like, oh, I'm opening a wound right now. But I think that's really the main thing, is like just being honest with yourself and kind of finding ways to say that rhyme. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. What was the music scene like in Phoenix? I mean, I know like Jimmy Eat World's from Mesa and like Arizona's got their bands kicking around, but for you in like high school, what was Phoenix like?
High school's like the music scene, it was incredible. I miss those days because it was when the only thing going on was like Bless the Falls playing a show. We gotta go. Or like The Word Alive is going to play a show. Greeley Estates, Scary Kids. There was so many bands at that time out of this scene that were like crushing. And then obviously there's like your local legend bands that didn't like make it on a bigger spectrum, but that were still killer and like people were fans of. And the scene back then was so much fun. Like I haven't felt that in a long time. I'm sure there's other scenes around the country that do feel like that, but it was such a community, and it was like you were a part of this little club that like nobody else knows about. And it was awesome. It was so much fun. It was, I mean, definitely another thing is you're like looking up to these guys like, man, they're so cool. Like I wish I could do that. That's all right, let's try.
And when your local scene spreads out and becomes a national thing, you're just like, yeah, that's my fucking hometown, right?
Absolutely, represent. That's awesome.
What takes you from Phoenix to LA? Is it pursuit of musical endeavors, or?
Yeah, I think being from Phoenix, like this is the nearest big city. So I think my whole life I had kind of romanticized the idea of running away to LA and just like being artistic and like, being on the beach and just, it'll be so cool there. And I like definitely throughout like my younger years had like romanticized the idea. And then during COVID, I was a mortgage broker of all things, and I was making really good money, and I was working from home, and it didn't matter where I lived. And I had quite a few friends that had moved out here, and was just like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I went just to visit and was like, I'm going to look at a couple apartments, and if I'm supposed to be there, something will work out. And I looked at all the ones I had planned to look at, and they were all trash, or it was just like, that's not it. And then the friend I was staying at, the building right next to them had a for rent sign. And I was like, all right, well, let me just pop in here. Let's see what's up. And it's this apartment. It's where I live still. And beautiful apartment, right in my price range, had just got on the market, beautiful view of the Hollywood Hills. And it was bigger than I was expecting, nicer than I was expecting.
Nice.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to apply. And I was like, I know all these apartments get like 100 applicants. I'm sure I won't get it. And I got it. And I was just like, I put it out to the universe, like, all right, if I get it, then I'm moving. If I don't, then I'm staying. And that'll be my answer. And man, I'm glad I did. I mean, it took a few years for things to kind of pop off for me out here, and I had some trials and tribulations even before this band with the music thing. But it all worked out, and I'm so glad I'm here and doing this. And then another big aspect of that is our producer, Hiram Hernandez, is like incredible. He's doing everybody's records. He's one of my best friends. I've known him 15 years. Nice. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey, just letting you know, next month I'm moving to LA." And I was like, "What? Me too." And we hadn't told and he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, like the month after you. Like I'm signing a lease. Like I got it all locked in."
That's right.
And so it was like really fortuitous timing. And then he's ultimately who I ended up putting this band together with. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. It was all feels very meant to be.
Yeah. It's cool when you get to move and you already have a point of contact and reference there, and it's not like now you're alone in this new city. It's like
we leaned on each other a lot the first couple of years, and obviously I had other friends, and so did he, and but it's been awesome. He's like a big rock in my life. He's the best.
Nice. Yeah. Mentioning Code Words, what was kind of the genesis moment for this band?
So when I moved here, I wanted to do pop music. I had been in another band that was signed, and we got shelved, and it was like this whole thing, and I just felt like I wasted all this time, and I was just like, I don't want to be on anyone else's schedule. I just want to like make some cool music. And I was like, I wanted to be like in the neighborhood or like the 1975 or something. That was like where I felt like my voice shined the most. Okay. And I had done a lot of stuff I had written for production music. Thank you, Jesus. I had done some, writing for TV shows and stuff like that. And they were all like, "Oh, you have such a good pop voice. You should really lean into that." So I started to do that. I wrote some music. A lot of it's still unreleased. And I came out here. I did like kind of the old fashioned way where you're like, all right, I'm going to get a music video. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to promote it a little bit, and it's just going to blow up, and then cool things will happen. Like that's what happened with that band, The Searching, right? Like we put out a music video, and everything just fell into place, and it was like a beautiful thing. And obviously we live in a different age now, and you got to do 305 TikToks per song every minute of every day. And so it just didn't really go anywhere. And eventually I did get reached out to by a notable label, and they were like, "Hey, you're a tiny artist, but I really do like this, and like let's talk, let's try to work something out." And I got like a demo deal. He was like, "Here's what the deal would be if we were to offer you something." And I kind of was like, it's really not like the greatest deal. I might need a little bit more to like kind of get this thing off the ground. And he was like, well, why don't you just like go it alone for a little bit, see if you can grow a little bit. I'll feel more comfortable investing and figure out your sound. You're a little too pop for this label. And at the time I was like, I don't really want to change my sound. And eventually it kind of petered out, and I was depressed, and I was working this job again, making great money, but I wasn't my purpose for coming out here. And I worked remote. So I was like not leaving the apartment. And I had told Hiram, I was like, man, I think I'm just going to hang it up. Like, I think I'll just, white picket fence, and that'll be my goal from now on, And he was like, nah, fuck that. Like, yeah, come to the house. Like, let's just write a song. Like, let's go back to your roots. Let's do some rock shit, because that's his lane. And he's like, I can help you. We'll do something sick. Yeah. And then I was just like, all right, dude. Like, yeah, I'll come over. So I like went over on some random Saturday, and my guitarist now, Garrett, was there, and I had never met him before. And he was like, yeah, this is my friend Garrett. This is my best friend Dylan. Like, let's just write a song. And the first day we wrote our song, The Best I Feel Is Numb. And we were like, wait, like, this kind of fucks. Like, there's something here. This is really cool. And Garrett was in a band called Violent New Breed at the time, and he eventually decided to quit and focus on Code Words full time, and that was all the validation I needed. I was like, all right, cool, like this is the thing. And it was a couple years ago now, and we kind of started the whole thing up, and it was just in the last like 4 or 5 months that things really have started to take off, and we're on Octane, and like got some really cool stuff, got signed, the whole nine. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's just fascinating that you like took that trek of being into like heavy music into the pop world and back. I've talked to so many like female vocalists who, because they're young girls, get pushed in that pop lane, and they're like, I want to do metal, and then eventually move over to that lane. You had like the inverse.
Yeah, I still would love to do pop music, like to some degree, and it's not on my horizon at the moment at all.
Sure.
But I still feel like I have some stories to tell on that side of the spectrum. But I mean, I love what we're doing, and to be honest, like the way that we're writing our music, it kind of scratches that itch. Bands I was in before were very heavy and super screamy and breakdown, which I love. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that. Yeah. But I felt like I shined a little bit better on this other side, and now I think Codewords is kind of the best of both worlds, where I get to kind of do both.
Yeah. What was the kind of inspiration for the band name, if there's any?
So this was another thing that during that process with the pop stuff is I had analysis paralysis up the ass. Like, I could not decide who I wanted to be, what it should be named, and I was just so like in my head about like everything has to be perfect. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta do it right, and like it has to be the coolest name. And I pondered that for months. It was stupid. It was the dumbest thing. And so we got this band put together, and I was like, we're gonna go sit down, we're gonna figure out a name, and that's gonna be the name, and I'm not gonna allow myself to make that mistake, so we can just get ripping. And I think at one point we had like different words that we liked. And code was one of them. And at one point we were like, switch code. Sounds cool. Like, man, switch code. And I was like, yeah, it kind of sounds cheesy a little bit too. And then I was like, all right, what other words come with code? And I was like, code words. Like, I think code words is sweet. And I like loved the band Cheat Codes. It's like not this genre, but I was like, that's such a cool band name. And so, yeah, there's not like a giant like folklore behind it. But there's things that we definitely want to do with the name that we need to be a little bit bigger to have people pay attention to it. Cool things that we want to like, and it kind of sucks is that a lot of bands are doing it now. Like Sleep Token is like hiding things and like having like scavenger hunts and doing those things. But like before they ever did that, we had that idea of like, it's code words. So like we can make little extra adventures for our fans. And we had this whole thing planned out, which I'm sure we will do at some point for fans. But that's kind of, I guess, the genesis there.
Yeah. I feel like at this point, a band name is like, don't suck and just be a vehicle that gets the music out there, right? Like,
Korn is the worst name out there, the best band in the world. So it's, you Puddle of Mud, like there's so many that are just, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Butthole Surfers, Jimmy Chicken Shack, you can go down the list. It's just like bad band names exist. Because you kind of exist in this, hard rock space that's somewhere between, people call it octane core. Unfortunately, it gets labeled butt rock so often, but like in that space of not quite metalcore, but not quite alternative rock, like I think from where I live musically, a lot of people just shit on that constantly all the time. And I talk to those bands, I listen to those records, and I'm like, they're all writing catchy songs and they're all bigger than the bands you like. So like, has it been, I mean, you're obviously finding success now, but have you had any pushback or thought like maybe we should push or pull in one direction? Or you're just kind of like, we like what we're doing and like it's working. So like, who gives a shit about other people?
I think like any pushback kind of came internally. So I have this, and I think it's also what makes our band good, is that Garrett, our guitarist, is an amazing guitar. Like he can shred anything under the sun. And then Hiram, I mean, he did like Azalea Dying's record. Like he loves super heavy stuff and he loves to riff. He himself is one of the best guitarists I've ever met. And so they kind of want to make things heavy and riffy and like sick. And I have the sentiment of like, oh, let's keep it catchy, guys. It's the vocal that sits on top. So let's make sure that's good. And I think it's that push and pull that kind of lands us somewhere in between and kind of works. I mean, from a fan standpoint, we haven't gotten too much, too many comments. Oh, you're here and there, like, oh, this sounds like everyone else. Okay, it is a genre of music. We're gonna kind of fit into a couple boxes for sure. But I mean, I like to think we do stand out in some ways, even from that genre. I think the way that we write and kind of the tone of my voice and the way that we, add different elements is, something someone's heard, but it's also in a different vein and kind of done a little differently. But yeah, so not too much kick back on that. As we get bigger, I'm sure there'll be a lot of that more going forward, but it doesn't really affect us.
Yeah.
And another thing is we are trying to be a little bit more broad. So like the last two singles, one was kind of down center main street of, it has some real heavy riffs, it has some screaming, but then it has like a catchy chorus. This last one, All Consuming, is a lot more pop. Like the verses are very pop. But again, that catchy chorus and the bridge kind of hits and has some heavy moments. Whereas the next song we're in the process of writing now is going to be really heavy and a lot more screaming. And so we're kind of trying to write in all avenues so that we can kind of fit on different bills and not pigeonhole ourselves so much, so that as we progress and want to try new things, it's not going to be like so far to one side, like, oh, these guys have changed, like, no, they've been doing that all along here and there. So that's kind of the plan. Yeah.
It's kind of even the nature of metalcore right now, where everybody's like, I like trap, so we're having some trap beats and here's your auto-tune chorus. And like, it's just like people are, instead of not embracing their influence, just being like, let's throw everything at the wall and like, just make sure, like, let's see if we can make it cool. And like, because what's been done has been done. You're not reinventing the wheel, right? Like,
it's like, if people like it, then people like it. And ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't even matter. It's if the band likes it, if I like what I'm doing and I feel great about it and I want to put it out in the world, then kiss my ass, dude. If you don't like it, like hit skip. You don't have to listen to it, but somebody out here is going to like it,
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You guys recently signed to Artery Foundation. How'd you get connected with the label, and how does it feel kind of being a part of the Artery? Has this great history, but they're in this period of rebirth?
Yeah. We got connected through Hiram. So he is, he's still managing. We are now doing like a co-manager with Artery. But he had, worked with them in the past and had some sort of a relationship, and kind of got them interested. It took some time to kind of get the whole thing off the ground, but now that we're here, it's been incredible. They're such a great team and like are very thoughtful, and every single step that they've made is only benefited, and it's really cool to go from it being just me and Garrett basically to now we have like this whole team of people who are actively working on things behind the scenes, and we get on these meetings and they're like, this thing happened this week and we got this going and this person's interested and this is happening, and it's like, whoa, like suddenly we're in a whole different space. And yeah, they've just been incredible to work with, and we're very excited to nurture that relationship and keep it going.
Nice. You guys have been slowly releasing singles. You said you're working on another one. What's kind of the plan release wise, if you can say, and kind of what's the rest of 2026 look like, whether that's touring or new music?
So yeah, we have this next single that we're going to release. And then I'm really hoping we get the opportunity to do a full record and have a start to finish piece of art, that I can really sink my teeth into. Where that's going to come, when that's going to come, we'll see. Some things kind of brewing that I can't talk about, but definitely on the horizon. We're hoping to get that done in the next year or so. I can't announce much, but I will say that in all of July we will be doing a full US tour, supporting some really amazing bands. Literally found out today.
Nice.
So that's really so that's going to be great. That'll be announced soon. We're just trying to be everywhere all at once and do everything. It's a new project, so we have a lot of work to do, but it's all very exciting and we're super ready and stoked for it. So yeah, the future's looking good for Code Words for sure.
Nice. It seems like there at times has been this push for bands to just like release singles and make the single be everything and not worry about albums. But I don't know if it's the fan of the genre or the bands themselves, but like even bands who have dropped a couple singles eventually are like, fuck it, we're going to release an album. Like that medium of just like slow drip does not seem to work for whether the fan or the band.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just the nature of streaming, and like you got to feed the algorithm. So it's like, all right, we did a whole record, we put the whole thing out all at once. You're gonna have this big spike, and then you're gonna fall off. So I think that's more where that came from. I don't think that's like a bands pushing that or fans wanting that. I mean, fans want everything all at once, right? So
right.
You see bands who will like release their album and they'll do it one single at a time over the course of like 5 months so that they can kind of have the best of both. And then like, all right, the album's out, they'll release the last 3 all at once or whatever, which I think is probably going to be the way that goes for a while until the next Spotify decides to rear its head and change the game. But I mean, I would love to do a full album and be able to express myself across 12 songs and kind of like link those together. And that would be a really, really fun project to sink my teeth into.